got our Vesica Piscis. The other word for this shape is a mandorla, which in the origins of that word it means almond. And so you can see that almond shape in the center there, where the two circles overlap. And this is fertile ground. And it is also, the Vesica Piscis is also a representation of the vulva. It's a very feminine symbol, and it's within that space that we give birth to the next dimension. So having our father dot and our mother dot merge, what's going to happen? One of the things that the Vesica Piscis gives us is two more defined points, and one where the edges of the circles overlap. And once we have those defined points, all of a sudden we can draw two triangles. And when we've drawn a triangle, we have enclosed area. And now that we've enclosed area, we have dimension 2. This is the definition of dimension 2 is area. So just to be really clear, dimension 0 is defined by the point or the dot. Dimension 1 defined by the line. Dimension 2 defined by area. Within now we have this flat plane, and we have the number 3. And 3 is the catalytic number. This is where all of our stories take place. This is where, we have a flat plane, like a piece of paper, printed page. It's a cartoon strip or even a film reel, right? Or the flat screen of a TV. So this is where creation accelerates. And every good story has 3 parts, right? There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's the initiation, there's the adventure, and there's the resolution. There's a hero, there's a villain, and there's a narrator. And according to Schoolhouse Rock, 3 is the magic number. Mom and the dad had a little baby. That makes 3 in the family. So I agree. 3 is the magic number. And you can think of all the triumvirates that define the dynamic flow of human life on Earth. You've got the sun, the moon, and the earth. You've got the past, the present, and the future. You've got the day, you've got the night, and you've got dawn and dusk in between. Father, mother, child. Spirit, mind, body. Waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. In yoga and Ayurveda, we have the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. The 3 doshas, vata, pitta, kapha. We have the 3 subtle essences, prana, tejas, ojas. Chinese medicine has the 3 treasures, Jing, Qi, and Shen. And if those words don't mean anything to you, don't worry, that's for later. In psychology, we have the roles of perpetrator, victim, rescuer. In the IFS, internal family systems paradigm, there are 3 types of internal parts: managers, firefighters, and exiles. And then there's the all-important rule of thirds in design and photography. There's something very pleasing about organizing things into thirds. And if you don't know this, I know Hillary knows all about this, where organizing things according to thirds is this crucial structure for pleasing art. It shows up in religious cosmologies all over the world: Father, Son, Holy Ghost. The sequence of creation, maintenance, and destruction or transformation represented by Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva in the Hindu tradition. We've got their feminine counterparts, which are Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga. In the Greek tradition, we have the triumvirate of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. In just regular reality, we have the perceiver, the object, and the act of perception. Right, so I'm sitting here. Here's my computer, and then there's the energy moving between us. Really important triumvirate. There are 3 primary colors: red, green, and blue. The yellow. Sorry, yeah, yellow. course. There are three basic shapes: a circle, triangle, and a square. And those are created by the three basic ways to translate a line, which we'll get into before long here. So, okay, lots of examples of the power of three, right? And that's because three is the catalytic number. Three is the magic number. As soon as we go from 2 to 3 and creation explodes. Every story has these three parts, and it's why, you know, Hollywood makes the same movie over and over again. Every story is basically the same thing. You look at the hero's journey, right? And there's the regular reality, there's the adventure, and there's the return. And it's just so satisfying. We can hear the same story over and over and over again, and it doesn't get boring because it's baked into creation on this fundamental level. Okay, so we're gonna look real quickly at the ways to translate a line. And these are how we come to our three basic shapes. So, okay, we've gotten to dimension 1 and we have a line. Great. What do we do with that line? We can slide it, just sliding it straight sideways, and that gives us a square. Yay, we have a square. What else can we do? We can rotate it. Rotating a line on its axis gives us a circle. Just pick a point, rotate it, and you've drawn it like just the way a compass works, right? Or we can twist it, where we pick one of the points and twist it, and that gives us a triangle, right? If we just rotate it, we have a triangle. So three ways to move a line, three basic shapes. This is like basic geometry, right? This is like third grade kind of stuff, but I don't remember being taught this in third grade. And as an adult discovering these processes, it's like, oh, this is how things evolve and come into being. And if you ever, we'll get there. Okay, so moving right along. So in our second dimension, we have our two triangles, and to get from dimension 1 to 2, we had to merge our triangle, merge our circles, didn't we? To get from dimension 2 to 3, what are we gonna have to do?
Separate them.
We're gonna, well, so the mom and dad have a little baby, and then that baby grows up and it wants to have kids of its own. So it's got to do the same thing mom and dad did. Oh yeah, slide right in there. Ew. Judaism. Yeah. Exactly. So this is a very familiar symbol, and this symbol actually gives us a cube. So just this symbol gets us to the third dimension, right? Going from area to volume is the transition from second to third dimension. Second dimension is enclosing a flat surface. To get to third, we've got volume, we've got a cell in a three-dimensional shape. So this Star of David, Seal of Solomon shape gives us a cube. But the process we did with the two dots was to take the edge of one dot and move it to the center point of the other dot. So we want to repeat that process exactly. So let's take an edge and move it to the center. And we get this shape, which is shaped, it's got the shape of an hourglass, doesn't it? And so there's all sorts of interesting sort of symbolic significance to that. But if we start, drawing some lines and taking away others, we end up with this tetrahedron, which is the most efficient way to enclose volume that exists. The triangle is the most efficient way you can enclose area. And so if you're trying to enclose volume, you put 4 triangles together, and there's no other way to enclose volume that's more efficient than this. And so this is where we get into this idea that space itself has an innate shape. This isn't something that we're choosing. This isn't arbitrary. This is an archetypal structure that cannot be argued with. There's no other way to do it in three-dimensional shape that's more efficient than this is.
That's not a pyramid.
So it's a tetrahedron. It's a form of a pyramid. We'll look at the traditional 4-sided base of a pyramid in a little bit when we're getting there for sure. Let's make sure I'm saying all the things that want to be said. So just retreating to the second dimension for a moment, because this is actually one of the primary hypotheses of multidimensional medicine, is that a lot of us are trapped in that second dimension on the horizontal plane, this sort of flat surface where we're spinning around in our stories and we're telling ourselves the same story over and over again. And it can keep us spinning in circles forever. And it's like, we wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'm hungry. I want food. I want money. I want sex. I want sensory stimulation. I want the objects of my desires. And we just spin and spin and spin. And that's all there is, without an extra dimension of awareness that orients us to something outside ourselves. So this, to break out of the endless loop of that second dimensional reality where it's like, oh, like wake up, go to work, go to bed, wake up, go to work, go to bed, wake up, go to work, go to bed. Like that is literally endless. And the laws of karma suggest that it's literally endless and that we will come back lifetime after lifetime until we satisfy those desires, which could be potentially infinite. So to break out of that loop, we need that extra dimension. We have to get outside of that loop so we can go up or down, as opposed to just flat on this endless loop.
I have a question.
Yes.
If I may. So each of the trajectory of these dimensions theoretically makes sense in and of themselves. What is the energetic component for transition between the two, or is that where like quantum leaping kind of comes into play?
Yeah. So we're gonna get there eventually, because ultimately, like, reality is not subdivided like this, is it? Like, reality is all one thing. Like, nature doesn't have departments. This is something that Buckminster Fuller says. Nature doesn't have departments. There's not a physics department and a chemistry department and a biology department. It's all smashed together, all interacting all at the same time. And so this is where this is the metaphysical realm. And so we're looking at these structures and these sort of conceptual ideas. And as we move along, we're going to work on how do we integrate them? How do we sort of stack them in these concentric spheres of awareness? That's where we're going.
Got it.
It's a good question.